Hello, good evening, this is Diecast Loon. I hope you're all doing well and welcome to what would have been a Friday night custom. Well, as actual fact, it's more like a Saturday night custom. What can I say? It's always the easy ones. So basically, the reason I didn't do a video yesterday, I did work on a car. A bit of a spare of the moment thing. I was actually going to show something else for yesterday's Friday night custom. And then I just suddenly had this idea, why not basically what it is, I come across I think it's the 1975 Chevy Chevette, I believe it's called, and I just really like the shape of it. Quite a cool little casting, and I thought, why not make it into a zamac, make my own zamac car version of it. As I've said before in previous videos, there isn't many zamacs, or I don't come across zamacs all that often over here where I live in the UK. A zamac over here where I live is like finding a super treasure hunt. They're that unusual to come across. So anyway, let me just show you what I'm on about. So this is the car that I made. So I thought I would make a quick zamac. So I'll quickly show you what it looked like to start with, for those that don't know. So just bear with me. So obviously that's what it looked like in the packet. So anyway, it was all I wanted to do was a basic car. I just wanted to strip it and I wanted to polish it up, put some tampos on it, my own tampos, my own choice, and some very minute detail. I didn't want to change the wheels. I didn't want to change it. I wanted to make it look as much as I could make it look like a zamac car. So we will take a closer look. Let's just get, I've not got very good lighting here at the moment. So there it is. So basically all I did was took off the paint, and then I realized I run out of wet and dry. Got a bit of hair there in the background. No, it's not. It's on the phone. So I run out of wet and dry. So that made it interesting, and so in the end this was achieved by some wire wool, or some steel wool, and something called T-cut, which basically is automotive car polish. It's used to take scratches out of cars. So no, I'm not doing the camera right. There you go, that's better. So it hasn't turned out too bad, and I didn't want it to be a really perfect job. I just wanted to buff it up a little, and a lot of them swirl marks you can see, they're the actual fact that's just from the polishing process. The camera's not doing it justice. It actually does look really quite shiny. I can actually see my face in it. You can just about see me in the background there, almost. But and the details that I did on it are just, I obviously painted in the little wheelie bar wheels and made a little Goodyear number plate up, and I put some little tampos there, total tampos, or whatever it is, advertisement for rear lights, which I thought would be pretty cool. You can see it looks like rear lights, and then you can see it's actually an advertisement. And that's all I did, and a little bit of interior detail. I did the little fire extinguisher, I believe it is, and gave the seat belts some detail, and that's all I did. I didn't even give it front detail at all, as I wanted this to look like a zamac. And as we all know, most zamac cars don't have they're not highly polished. There is some imperfections in the casting. If you look, it is just basically a raw casting with what looks like lacquers and tampos on it. So that's all I've done to this. It is just basically something that's been sanded back. I went over the steel wool, 2 different grades of steel wool, and then I used this, I suppose for a word you could call it, cutting compound, and just hand polished it. And it didn't take long. Once the paint was off, I think this took an hour to get like this. It would have looked better if I'd used wet and dry and went through the different grades. But like I said, I had some here and I've used it all up. So you use what you got. That's what you do. But like I said, the reason this took so long to do is because, as usual, it went wrong. So I had it perfect, had it all sanded down, all buffed up. I'd put a set of transfers on it, and then, as usual, the lacquer went wrong, and it went all crazed and all like murky. So I had to take it all off again, back in the strip pot, take off all the lacquer, and then reapply some other tampos. And the tampos I've used aren't as nice as the tampos I had in the first place on it. Unfortunately, I didn't have any photographs of the car before I lacquered it. It looked better the first time round, but I didn't give up. I stuck it back in the strip pot and then had to repolish it. So like I said, it ain't looking too bad. I'm happy with it, but it was better the first time round. And that's what I'm saying in the beginning of the video. It's always the easy cars that cause you the most problems. Like I said, this was supposed to be something. I came across this casting, thought, oh, that looks cool, and I'd like to do something with that. And then I suddenly had this idea, let's make it into my own version of a zamac. And like I said, it was a good idea to start with. And then I basically, like I said, the lacquer. And the reason the lacquer went better this time is because I used a different lacquer. I actually went out and used one of the cheaper lacquers from I think it's from a pound store, cheap lacquer, big tin of it, but it always goes on well. And this branded lacquer, I'm not going to say the brand, but this branded lacquer that I used always seemed to muck me around. I don't know why. So anyway, it rolls nice, as you can see. I'm not conscious what I'm doing. It is basically a standard car. It's on its standard wheels. Like I said, all I've done is stripped it, polished it, tampoed it, a little bit of red paint on the rear wheelie bar wheels there, and like I said, a little bit on the interior, and that is it. It's really, really simple. And like I said, them swirl marks, like I said, the camera's not doing it justice. Off the camera, it actually looks better in hand. And like I said, I'm not fussed. I don't want to. This was supposed to be something that was quick and easy. And like I said, I'm happy with it, but this is the second rendition of it. So anyway, so that is that. So this should have been for yesterday's video. It should have been for Friday Night Custom. It was a one-off thing, but as usual, it went wrong. So I didn't do bad because basically it went wrong yesterday. I threw it back in the strip pot this morning, and once it stripped, which took about an hour. I suppose this car took me about a couple of hours, say 2 to 3 hours. It didn't take long once it had restripped. And then, like I said, I lacquered it earlier and I left it cure through the day. It didn't have 12 hours. I usually leave it 12 hours before I touch something, but this was all right because, like I said, it was only one thin coat. But anyway, that is tonight's video. A bit random, I know. But like I said, I'm happy with it. And like I said, it was supposed to have been simple. It was supposed to have been quick. It was an off. You know, basically, it was I have been working on something that I was going to show, and then I came across this, and then suddenly I had this idea. Let's make it into a zamac. And if it had gone right, it would have basically been, well, it was very quick. But anyway, with that, please like, share, subscribe, stay tuned for more Friday Night Customs on a Friday, hopefully, next time. Vintage Matchbox Mondays episode, and on occasion I do a Wednesday video. But with that, I'll see you all very soon. Thank you for watching. Take care.